welcome. In this video, I want to do a follow-up regarding the video put out answering a question, okay, regarding trying to understand the process, and even by way, again, of how things appear, and being able to move beyond and come to a place in the relationship, okay, where everything is established. And understand, this can be very challenging, especially, I say this, for those who are already established dog trainers, okay, who are focused on responses, okay, setting up responses, the way I talk about, using treats, because understand there's certain deceptive interplays, okay, that you have to apply context. Otherwise, okay, you'll be assuming certain things about appearances that are not true about the relationship and about the perceptions of a dog. And this goes into, I talk about context of agreeableness. That's a major theme that is really a major problem in the dog training community. Agreeableness, right? It's like the number one thing that's problematic. This is why people end up, and this is what happens. They come and they end up with a bad result. A dog that's still reactive, still dealing with a relationship problem, a whole, laundry list of behavioral problems are still happening, and you end up like shaking your head or just like saying it must be the genetics of the dog. This happens all the time. This is the go-to, because that's the point where you're stalled out. Okay, you can't work through it. I talk about this over and over again in my videos. Trainers that come into my site and they just, instead of saying, well, we'll try this, right? Yeah, sure, it looks a certain way, but I'll take that step out of the boat and I'm going to trust the process. No, they don't do that. They want to go on the attack, right? They just want to, try to defend. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, what are you defending? Like, you have a mess on your hands, you're blame shifting. And that's why I say that's where it becomes an ethical issue, right? I mean, it's a choice you're making, saying I'm gonna accept this, even though, I know that there's problems, but I'm just gonna, because what? You're making money, you got reputation, because here's the thing. I mean, dog owners that are, again, this is part of the emotional connection part, that are like caught in the same type of trap with the relationship, are going to buy into it, and you made your money, and it's like leaving the scene of a crime. All right, but all to say that, the question being, well, when you look at, again, my videos, you look at the process, people automatically assume certain things, right? They just, because that's what they're doing throughout everything anyway, but they look at it and say, oh, it looks way over the top. Certain reactions, you have that too. You see on my videos, there'll be certain reactions with dogs during the, dogs are holding high level control, and it throws people sideways because it looks a certain way. They don't look at the whole, and they'll stop there. They won't even look at the whole video or the whole series. They just get offended, right? And there's that. Right? Because I say that one of the major themes is being able to reconcile the response and reactions of dogs properly by way of the relationship. And I'll add on another piece, and the process. Okay, so the process with this system, okay, is going to move beyond that. Okay, it's going, those reactions are going to trigger off for some dogs. But if you actually watch the whole, video series and the whole part of the process, you'll see, how the stress comes off the dog, everything gets established, right? So there's all that, okay? So understand that there's this thing about, ethically and morally that's going on in the dog training community. So many people are just offended without cause, right? Like, what are they basing their offense on? Number one, especially if they're blame shifting on the dogs, and some of these people even have their own personal dogs that are reactive. I go through all that, right? So it's total hypocrisy, right? So they want what exactly? Well, they're not happy. These aren't happy people. Okay, number one, you have to understand these aren't individuals who are content, okay, and happy with their process. Obviously, or they wouldn't be lashing out, even going in and wanting to debate and argue and go on all day long. You wouldn't feel a need to do that, right? You'd be so. When I talk about even this system of training, being settled, being content, there's a big part of that. That's why a lot of times I'm not motivated to debate some of these individuals. Why would I? I say the system of training is a complete system. It answers the questions. It does. That's not some marketing strategy. But for those who aren't all in, we'll talk through some of this, right? That's on them. That's not my problem. I encourage people, listen, there's no middle ground here. If you want to understand this system, if you want to, really understand it, you want to gain that level of connection I talk about, then you have to go all in. There's no little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I'll try this out, and I'll try to incorporate this in. It doesn't work that way. I had a couple individuals, again, and they took my introductory course, and that's why it's set up that way to begin with, is like the first step, right, is about letting it go, right? You have to, it's like giving people the opportunity, because part of it too is I'm not gonna, if you spend, the money on the actual, in-person or online dog trainer certification course, and spend that money, right, and then and then have a problem. Well, I'd rather you have a problem on say a course that's like a couple $100, right? Then you see and here's the hypocrisy. You see some of these people, and I've seen it. They'll take these courses from the play-based trainer for what, $15,000, and they still end up with questions, or they're still in a bad way and they don't know. You spent $15,000, right? And then you're coming into this system, right, complaining about $200 or nothing, right? Just want to, it doesn't even make sense. Like, so you spent the $15,000, go get your money back, okay? Go get your money back. If you're not, go get your money back. Go get a refund. You should anyway. So there it is. The system of training, you can edge your way into it and not spend very much money at all. But the issue is about how it challenges people's thinking. That's really it. And that's and don't get me wrong, and this is the thing that really bothered me when I had a couple individuals take those courses, and that individual I talk about, right, exploited those situations, tried to exploit it, right, to try to paint a certain picture, right? It had nothing to do with, okay, maybe those individuals are already established trainers, which they are, and they didn't reach out for any help or guidance, which they didn't, right? They just assume certain things, and and here's the thing, doesn't make any sense to me. That's why I don't have, what do you do? They went over to someone like that guy, right, and allowed him to exploit, and the same guy that going and trying to take video content, take it out of context, break into my members area, right, and all that. That's stuff that's the stuff in the dog training world that's going on that is totally, like, I don't even understand how these people even have followers. Like, really, I don't. But the people that didn't reach out for help, I can't help people if you're not going to reach out. I'm all about helping people. I take a mentoring approach. So, that's the thing that bothered me the most about that. But that guy didn't care about any of that anyway. Like, that bothered me. Like, why these guys reached out, I wanted to help them, right? That was the first thing on my mind. He didn't give a crap, right? And they just fell into the trap. And then they're in a mess anyway. I profile one of the trainers that want to lash out. So, like, if you want to do that stuff, go ahead. But how's that going to help you? If your goal, okay, here's the bottom line. If your goal is to reach a certain place with dogs that you really understand, gain insight, and have real connection, and really can can move beyond appearances. How's any of that helping you do that? Like, make sense. Like, help me make sense of that. And even, even these individuals, like, what motivates them obviously isn't in the best interest of dogs. I think the problem here is a lot of them have already got their egos so up so high from this lie, this bad process, that they don't care. That's all they care about, right? They're in a trap. So, and these people are all social media driven. They never met me in person. They don't know anything really about me other than what I'm saying on my videos, which is all 100% about a process. But a lot of times you can work beyond stuff through relationship. Okay, getting to know somebody and saying, "Oh, I know Dale. I met him. There's none of that." And so, yeah, I'm gonna, on social media, I'm gonna push back with information. But it's information, right? So, but it's solid. Okay, there's no hidden agenda here. So, all to say that, I talk about people like questioning about, things, with the dogs, like, how does this work, or, and this thing, and they're going into my videos. One said they watched my debate I had with Miracle Canine a couple times. They had their notebook out, which is all great. Don't get me wrong, like, take notes. But there's an aspect to this where it comes to experiencing, the interplay with the dogs, okay? I talk about the 1 percentile dog, but then the one-on-one part of it. When I say all in this system, it means actually take the courses, show up one-on-one, right? Be all in. Don't be one of these people, because you can only get so far in that. You really can. When Jack Morton came down here with his dog Kaiser, he spent 6 weeks with me full time. 6 weeks full time with his dog, with Kaiser. And you're not going to spend 6 weeks full time with me and walk away and not be a trainer, okay? I mean, that just ain't going to happen. But having that type of, interpersonal, right, in-person type of dynamic, you can't, there's so much stuff. I could write 6 more books or 10 more books on everything. So there's only so much I can put out, but you have to go all in. So my encouragement is, if you're a balanced trainer or force-free trainer or whatever, however you identify, you got to let that go. You got to let it go. You got to admit there's problems first, right? That you don't have all the answers, right? And then you got to let it go. There's a trade-off. I say that. There's the biggest issue here really comes down to a trade-off. And these trainers, a lot of them, they don't want to make it. And they want to lash out. Go for it. I mean, that's on you. I'm not, there's no wavering here, right? There's no, like, you're not going to convince me of that you're right at all when you're wrong. You're 100% wrong. So people have no idea that this system of training was based on, number one, the relationship I had with my police dogs, right? Reuben specifically. And putting all that stuff under the microscope. People have no clue, right? You talk about learning theory, right? We have no clue. Putting all under the microscope in a very personal way, right? Seeing it and seeing all I understand all of it. Breaking it all down. I took the time. I took the time these trainers never took. And the ego from these people, right? They have no clue. But see, that's the problem. That's their blind spot. Ego, pride and ego is blind you to certain reality, certain things. That's why, you're wasting your time with a lot of these people, because it's like they've already bottomed out. So what do you do with that? But all to say that, my thing here is, like, I would love for people, the more people I can have experience what I've experienced, why wouldn't you want that? That's the bottom line. Don't listen to the dog training community, all these people, that's just, look how bad it is. Look at your own journey, ask yourself the question, do I want that? Do I want it? These people are missing out. I see it as really, they're missing out on so much. You're missing out on so much through that connection to what it is, experience that through nature with dogs. These people are missing out so much. And so, I just tend to, not think about it, leave it behind. But, but it's sad. So all to say that, I know I'm kind of going on some rabbit trails here, but my thing here is I'm here to help people. I'm going to continue to push back on the nonsense, but your first, train stop, okay, if you're on that dog training train, your first stop should be get up before you even say anything about this system of training, okay? This is the thing that kills me about these trainers and stuff. You should look around the dog training community at the mess, and you should ask yourself the question, what's going on? Then go watch my Flipping the Script series. But that's the first thing you should be doing. These people are mouthing off on my videos, like mouthing off, saying stuff. What are you even saying? You have no clue. No clue at all. You're just mouthing off. Why don't you just be quiet and leave social media for maybe a year and self-reflect? Because I swear none of these people have any introspective, any insight, because they just, there's no pause button. They just get on social media and they just want to argue and debate, and they're in a mess anyway, and that makes no sense to me. Always learning but never coming to a knowledge or understanding what the truth is. That's what it is. So again, if you have questions, check out the system. There's lots of kind of entry points. My books, the videos, the member area, has lots of extra videos. In my board and trains, there are lots of behind the scenes, lots of extra content. My courses, okay, I'm going to plug them because it's the same thing. The introductory to the relational approach course, that's, it's a couple $100. It's the best money you ever spend if you want to gain. So it has my 14-part learning breakdown series. Okay, I go through point by point through all of it, balance, force free, but not in a naming names way or anything like that. I go through it, counter conditioning. I go through all the concepts and align them. And contrast them through this system. I go point by point. It's a 14-part series. It's part of the course. Then there's dog training exclusive videos about devices, everything, all through. No one's ever seen those videos because they're exclusive to that course, to the courses. So the courses, and you'll have lifetime access to the courses. When you complete the courses, you get a certificate mailed to you. They're online courses to kind of prepare the way for as an instructor of the system. But it's the first step. And then the advanced course, okay, is getting into dog aggression. We got a ton of videos in there, okay? There's a wealth of information in that course. And that's going to bring you to that point of deciding whether you want to take the next step and actually be a trainer of this system. And through that, it's either a 1-week in-person course, which is the preferred, in person. That's the way to go if you can do it, in-person course. Or there is for those who just can't do that because of distance, and you might live on wherever, but you want to still be instructor of this system. I have the online dog trainer course, okay, which again is going to be not going to be 1 week, okay, it's going to be like 3-4 months, because again it's going to be longer, of course, but it's still doable. Okay, some people can excel online and do well, but again, if you can do the in-person course, that's the way to go. So again, all I say, if you have questions, you can contact me, but I have the FaceTime consult as well, so you may just have a list of questions. Say, I just want to talk to Dale for an hour and get a better sense of things. Do that. It's like $65, the best $65 you ever spend, okay? My rates are very reasonable considering what the system training represents. Understand that there's trainers out there charging bank for foolishness, okay? For $15,000. I mean, come on, give me a break. And it doesn't even reconcile, okay, what the process is. I mean, it's crazy. But people are just looking at the trophies, right? They're all caught up in the shine, in the shiny thing. Don't do that. Go for the foundation, the proper foundation. That's where you want to go. So all to say, hope this video is helpful. I just kind of want to ramble on a little bit, cover some main points. I'm going to continue to put out video content. But again, if you want to be part of this system, be part of it. Don't listen to these people. I mean, that's them. They're going to go on right to the end. Okay, I mean, they're going to go on to the end, and for what? For what? It's a joke. It really is a joke. Some of these are just miserable people, and a lot of them on social media, and they want to do what exactly? Look at that conference coming up. I can't even imagine. I mean, get your notebook out, because it's gonna be 5-6 people telling you all 10 different things, because that's the point, right? It's a mess for a reason. I go through all of it. The system of training is a complete original source system. It answers the question. There is no wishy-washy all over the place. It's very specific for a reason, and that's good news. That's what you want. Okay, that's what you want. I mean, it's crazy to me. These people are all over the map and then pretend like they got all the answers. It's ridiculous. And then want to come at this system. I mean, good luck with that. Go look at the whole Murdoch situation, see how that played out. It's a joke. It is a joke. So, but again, all to say that I'm here for, I'd love to have more people aligned with the system to help dogs and owners. That's what it's really about, to help dogs and owners the right way, to get out there, to really make a difference. And that's what it should be about. So, thanks for watching.